Christianity is a polytheistic pagan belief. This is because Iblis had direct influence over Constantine.
As stated in my video prior, many other bishops and popes existed prior to the era of Constantine.
Now, Constantine was a conqueror of sorts that used to hate Christians.
But evidently this wasn't everlasting. Eusebius writes a book heavily venerating Constantine for his conversion, and history notes that Constantine was an emperor who began the legalization of the Christians.
And what he would do is throw them in a gladiator pit and have their lives taken.
I can't find anything verifying this, but maybe it could be true. I doubt it is, but even if it was, one of the first apostles spent a lot of his time persecuting and executing Christians.
Now, Constantine also worshipped the sun god Mithras. And yes, we have found the actual temples and the altars that he used to do Mithraism rituals on. Now, Constantine needed the influence of the Romans to be able to continue to conquer.
This doesn't make sense. Christians had way less influence over Rome than other groups like pagans.
So he found a way that he can manipulate the Christian Bible and implement Mithraism rituals into it. So those rituals that they do inside of the Christian church, where they drink the blood and eat the flesh, the cannibal stuff, that is a Mithraism ritual worshiping the sun god Mithras.
So if you believe that it was Constantine who did this, then why do we have accounts of these Mithras rituals prior to the era of Constantine? In the first apology by St. Justin of Martyr, it says that Jesus took bread, and then he had given thanks, said, "This do in remembrance of me. This is my body." And that after the same manner, having taken the cup and given thanks, he said, "This is my blood," and gave it to them alone, which the wicked devils have imitated in the mysteries of Mithras, commanding the same thing to be done. For that bread and a cup of water are placed with certain incantations, and the mystic rites of one who is being initiated. You either know or can learn. This part was written around 155 AD, a century before Constantine was born. So how can Constantine have been the one to combine the Mithras ritual with Christianity if church fathers predating him have records of the worshippers of Mithras copying the Christians? We have other records from St. Justin of Martyr describing the sacrifice of Jesus, we have earlier church fathers from St. Justin describing the sacrifice of Jesus, and we have it from the literal Bible. In Matthew 26, it says, "And whilst they were at supper, Jesus took bread and blessed, and broke, and gave it to his disciples, and said, Take ye and eat, this is my body. And taking the chalice he gave thanks, and gave to them, saying, Drink ye all of this."
Now, he was able to pull this off because he was able to disguise the Mithraism ritual and calling it the Holy Trinity. Now, the Holy Trinity, talking about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Son is the sun god Mithras. The Holy Spirit is the jinn he worked with to pull this off. You can't be monotheistic if you're worshiping three things.
Each person of the Trinity have the same essence. They're virtually distinct from each other, but are identical by essence. So in other words, you're not worshiping three separate gods when you pray to each person of the Trinity.
You are trusting a book that was rewritten by a man that used to throw Christians into the gladiator pit.
Actually, it was Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John who wrote the Gospels, and Paul who wrote majority of the rest of the New Testament. It was then St. Jerome who made the Latin Vulgate as a translation of the New and Old Testament. Constantine had nothing to do with neither writing or translating the Bible, and neither did the Council of Nicaea. The Council of Nicaea actually discussed the divinity of Christ and whether he shares the same substance as the Father.